Hello, I appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you so much. If you are new here, you are most welcome. Kindly remember to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. So each time I put out anything new, you will be notified. And to my oldies, thank you so much for always checking in to see what we've got. What am I talking about today? Recall that if you are a regular here, there was a time, recently, I did a video on a library in Lagos, a private library in Lagos. It's a free library. Well, what we are talking about today is the museum side of that library. Yes, it is CRIMMD Museum of Nigeria Photo History. This museum is a subsidiary of CRIMMD, that is Center for Research, Information and Media Development. Well, it is a Nigerian Museum of Photo History. You can imagine what you will see there. Let me not just talk so much. Let's take you right there where you will see this and many, many more. Yes. Okay, guys, we are at the museum. You know, I told you that the other side was the
library.
This is the museum. So we still have Dr. Raphael James here to tell us about the museum. So how come this place?
Amazingly, I was doing a book to mark Nigeria at 100. That was around 2010. And in the course of doing that book, I came across a whole lot of photographs because the book was supposed to run for about 3,000 pages. So there were a whole lot of photographs I had. And I started asking myself, what do I do with all these photos? Because obviously, I knew most of them could not go into the book. And that was how the concept to set up a photo museum came in. And I started collecting those photographs and putting them in a particular folder. And as I talk to you, I have about 42,000 photographs.
I can see small
on Nigerian history. They're actually not on display here because of the space, but we have most of them in our external hard drive where we store them. But the way we've done here now is that we actually call this place Nigeria.
This is what?
Yeah, you're now inside Nigeria. You're now in Nigeria, yes.
Yeah,
and the idea is this. For everybody who has been a somebody in the making of Nigerian history, we have the photograph and the profile in this place.
Wow.
For every photograph on display, there's a storyline or a profile of that person. And where we planned it was that we started, as in we look at, beside the pre-colonial history, from pre-colonial we move into the colonial history where we have Queen Victoria. We talked about Queen Victoria, not Queen Elizabeth this time. Because as of the time Mungo Park and the Lander brothers came for exploration, the queen then was Victoria, and it was Victoria who was giving them permission. Yes, she was the one that gave them permission. So we have that. We have photographs of the Berlin West African Conference at the point where Africa, or rather West Africa, was shared as if they were sharing Nama, you know. Okay. Exactly. So from then we started having the Governor General Lugard came in on the invitation of George Goldier and his company, the United African Company. George Goldier, they told us, was the founder of Nigeria. Well, the founder of modern day Nigeria. That's George Goldier. So he brought in Lugard. Lugard came in from...
Lugard, the one that did this amalgamation and is causing problem.
Yes.
Is he the one?
Now, you see, sincerely speaking, amalgamation is not causing problem. It is we Nigerians that are creating problem for us, and we're blaming amalgamation. You can marry. You can marry anybody you want to marry and live in peace if you want to live in peace with the person.
So what is happening now?
We are the problem. We are just the problem. We have been amalgamated for 100 years. We have lived together for 100 years.
Yet we don't see eye to eye. Why?
That's our problem. Anyway, that's the story for another day.
Let's leave it.
So eventually the amalgamation. In fact, let's even talk about, if we're going to talk about amalgamation, it's going to shock you. Because if you go on social media, you see quite a lot of photographs talking about amalgamation. For example, you see this particular photograph here was one of the photographs I got in history book telling us that was 1914 amalgamation. But in the course of my research work, I discovered that there was no amalgamation done in Nigeria in 1914. In Nigeria, amalgamation was done in London. And I have facts to prove that. Nigerian amalgamation was done in London.
Not in Nigeria.
On November 13, 1913, not 1914. 1913, not 1914. Yes. No, but that's the truth. There's facts to that. But it was now pronounced on January 1st, 1914. Okay. Yeah, but amalgamation was done, the sign and everything was done in London. So when I even hear people tell you that a particular Oba or a particular emir was signatory to the amalgamation, I start wondering where they're getting information from. Because nobody was. It was
done in London
Lugard,
in 1913.
Lugard and Lewis.
Lewis
Harcourt, the guy who Port Harcourt is named after,
yes.
and Lewis Harcourt, Lugard, and George Goldier were the masterminders of the amalgamation, and they were the one that worked on it. So there was no Nigerian that was a signatory to it. So, but besides that, we have photographs of all the. Let me also point out this, because that's another mistake we make when we discuss Nigerian history. Nigeria had 3 governor generals, and not 9. Most history books will tell you we have 9 governor generals. The first was Lord Lugard. Now, after Lord Lugard, the other people who served as governors between Lord Lugard and when James Robinson came in were addressed as governors of Nigeria, not governor generals. So we had Lugard as governor general, the first one. The last colonial governor general was James Robinson. And after them, we had the first indigenous governor general, which was Dr. Nnamdi, the Right Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Isaac. So, beside the colonial photographs, like I said, we have photographs of all the governors, military governors that have ruled Nigeria, all civilian governors that have ruled Nigeria. We have all the ministers. That section is where we have anybody that have served as a minister in Nigeria. We have all the senators that have served in Nigeria from 1960. Like I said, once you have rules, you have taken a role in Nigerian history. We have the photograph and the profile. Then we have special photographs, like major events that happen in Nigeria that needs to be documented. We have photographs of those events. So beside the photographs, we have some other items. We have Nigerian stamps. Beautiful. Wow. So we have that section. We have lots of Nigerian stamps. In fact, there's an album there. There's an album on Nigerian stamps where we have all the stamps. And these things are all on display in our museum.
They don't write letters anymore.
No, well, they still do. NIPOS is doing all it can to encourage people to. You see, the funny thing is.
What should I write a letter?
No. Let me even explain something to you. Let me explain something to your viewers that's going to amaze them. I started collecting stamps as a hobby in 1974. Today, I can tell you in good authority, the king of all the hobbies in the world is stamp collection. Now, what it means is that some of the stamps I collected in 1974 that were valued for about, say, 5 kobo, 2 kobo, those stamps of 2 kobo are presently valued over 20,000 naira.
Who is buying it?
Who is buying artworks?
Okay.
Who is buying stocks in the stock exchange market? There are people, this is their job, they buy old stamps, they buy artworks. So stamps are sold. There are stamps that are sold for as much as $100 million for one single stamp. One single stamp for as much as $100 million. One of the most expensive Nigerian stamp is the one they call the Black Penny stamp of 1884. The Black Penny stamp at the point in time sold for as much as I think $250,000 or even more than that. For one single stamp. I don't have it. I have a photograph of it, but I don't have the real stamp.
Okay.
I don't have the real stamp. So we have stamps. We have a collection of Nigerian currency. In fact, I will actually plead with you. Maybe you have to bring the camera closer to view this area where we have Nigerian currency. Well, from the days of shells, when we use cowries, the Manila iron money. You've seen the Manila iron money before? These are money. All those iron that looks like bangle, they were used as. In fact, they were called the slave money. They were used in buying slaves. Sardine, the normal sardine used in eating your bread today.
Sardine.
Yeah, sardine was used in buying slaves. It acted as money.
Sardine.
Yeah, sardine.
Fish.
Now, this is the interesting thing. The colonial master came to the kings, came to our kings, the Obas, and they would tell them that, king, I can make fish appear in the container and the fish will swim. And the king gets excited. He wants to see it. And the guy rolls the sardine open. Been there. He's been there. So he opens the sardine and the king sees the fish. And you know the sardine always have oil. So it looks like water. The fish is actually swimming. And the white man picks the fish and eats. And the king wants to eat. And he said, for you to eat this, you're going to give me 2 slaves. And the king will willingly hand over 2 human beings just to eat the sardine.
Wow.
The same thing happens to matches. You know, matches too was used in exchange of slaves. Before then, our forefathers used to use 2 stones to keep scratching the stone for fire to come. Yeah. Then the white man comes and tells you, no, you don't have to do that. I can do magic and fire will come. And the king is excited. How will you do it? He brings out a matchbox and the fire comes out. And he gets excited. And he said, you want it? He said, yes. If you want it, give me 2 slaves.
Oh my God.
If you want the whole pack, give me 20 slaves.
And they will give out
20 human beings for a pack of matches. See, those 2 bottles are original snap bottles used in exchange of human being. not a replica. Understand my word now. Those two there are not replica. They were actually used in exchange of each of them 10 slaves. So that is 20 slaves for those 2 bottles of schnapps.
1 bottle of schnapps.
1 bottle of schnapps was used in exchange of 10 human beings.
But why were the kings? Why were so daft? Why were they doing that?
Well, today you see them as being daft because you are now kind of civilized. You understand better. To them, it was an excitement to them. Though I must also say that it was also an act of stupidity, because in the areas where the bottle of schnapps were used mostly, which is what is today called the Niger Delta area, they were producing the original sapele water, original ogogolo, which was even much more stronger than the one the white man was bringing. But because the white man has been able to package his own,
his packaging, and they even tell us today that when you come out and you do this, they forget about wedding days.
So the white man packaged his own better, and the king was like, wow, I want to taste the one in that bottle.
And even till today, sapele water even pass on its own.
I did a tour of sapele, and you know the first when I got there, the first thing I did was I want to taste sapele. Unfortunately, I don't take alcohol, so I insisted I wanted to take sapele water, and they took me to a sapele joint, a bar,
oh.
and they gave me. I said I don't take alcohol. He said, oh God, but you want to taste? I said yes. So he gave me. Well, I said this is too small. He said, take small one. And that small one kept me on my toes.
Oh my God! You know, Nigeria is we are rich in culture, but you see, the thing is, our people don't value what we have.
Yeah.
But you see, that is why we have a museum. When you come here, you see things. You just marvel. I have seen so many things today. Do people come out to look at this place, like schools, like individuals?
Yeah. Schools come for excursion, even some churches organize and bring their members for excursion. So most of those churches, they even forced us to come and open on Sundays. Wow. They put a call and said, it's only Sunday we can come. And I said, okay, so I just come open them. Of course, I have to get some cash to pay my bills.
Okay, so this place is not free?
No, it's not free. We charge 1,000 naira for you to cross the door and walk in.
Okay.
For everybody that crosses the door, we charge 1,000. No matter, even if you're 1 million people, it's 1,000, because it's the same amount of talking I'm going to do. Because once you come in here, I have to take you through Nigerian history. I have to explain the photograph, explain the items. We have a whole lot. Once it has to do with Nigeria, this is just the place to go.
If you're out there, you want to come to Nigeria, you can come to Nigeria, but you have to be here, so that you know that you are in Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything Nigeria is here.
We have collection of old LPs, large plate albums. We have SP, small plate albums. We have cartoons. Cartoons from 1980s to date.
Wow.
From Nigerian media, we have a collection of cartoons. You know, we have samples of mineral resources in Nigeria. Those are the samples of, if I including crude oil. Do you know? I actually never knew what crude oil was until I started putting these samples together. Crude oil, where we have kerosene, where they all come from. There's a small container of it there. So we have all the samples, everything. Then we also have books. We have books on Nigerian history. You see, on this section,
this side.
Yeah, we have 293 biographies of prominent Nigerians. At the other end of it, at the first line at the top, we have biographies of all presidents and head of states of Nigeria. The 2 steps below it are speeches of all the presidents and head of states of Nigeria.
This one is...
Now, let me tell you one amazing thing. When I was doing the collection of that speeches, I discovered that among all those who have served Nigeria, either as head of state or president, there were 2 people who did not have a collection of their speeches.
Who?
And that was General Agin Ronsi, our first military head of state, and Chief Ernest Shoneko, the head of the interim government. So what I did was I embarked on the project. I was able to collect General Ronsi's speeches. Then I approached General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida in Mina, who accepted, and he wrote the foreword of that book, and I produced a book on the collection of Ronsi's speeches. Then I also put together the speeches of Chief Ernest Shoneko, but unfortunately, I've not been able to produce that because I've not gotten an approval for Chief Shoneko, because he's very much alive, so I need to get his approval before I can do that. So for now, the only speech you're not going to see here in terms of collection is that of Chief Ernest Shoneko. But every other one, in fact, including our former now president, civilian president, and former military head of state, General Muhammadu Buhari, will have a collection of his speeches as a military head of state.
This is cool. This is good. This is Nigeria.
Yeah, this is Nigeria.
Like you said, it's Nigeria. Well, if you're in school and you're watching and you're in Lagos, bring your students to Nigeria.
And there's a whole lot to learn.
I have seen so many things. I have seen so many things.
Let's just do this. Can you just bring this frame beside your side here?
This one?
Yes, that one. Okay. Now let's look at this frame. Now this frame, this is the original story published in 1976. This article was written by Professor Adedoyin. She's now of blessed memory. She died about a month ago. Okay. Now she wrote this article in 1976, where she suggested that Nigeria should have a pledge. And this is how we got, I pledge to Nigeria, my country. Yes. So when this story came out then, the head of state, Nigerian head of state then, General Olusegun Obasanjo, saw this story, got interested in it, set up a committee, gave them a piece of this newspaper and asked them to study this and come up with a pledge from it. And that was how we got the pledge. I was speaking to her on the phone before she died, and last year, November, which was her birthday, I called her to wish her happy birthday, and I told her about this, that I have the story here, and she said, "Oh, James, I would love to come and see my original. I don't have a copy. I would love to come and see it." And I said, "Ma, I'm going to give you a red carpet reception if you come." But unfortunately, she never made it, and she's now of blessed memory. So we also have a collection of history items that talked about all the emblems of Nigeria. I had the privilege of going to Ibadan to interview Pa Taiwa Kinkumi, the man who designed the Nigerian flag. I did an exclusive interview with him, and he told me everything he could remember about it. And in the course of us doing that too, we discovered that in the history of Nigeria from 1960 up till last year, there was no evidence anywhere on the designer of the Nigerian coat of arms. My name is Raphael James. You can quote me on that. There's no evidence on who designed the Nigerian coat of arms that we as a nation have been using.
Well, that's much we can take. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, kindly leave a comment in the comment section. You can also visit, okay? You can visit the place. It's opposite Chrisland College in Idimo, Lagos. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you're yet to subscribe, please remember to do so. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.